Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back again. It's Madam Mulhat Farid under the courtesy of Mewa Digital Hub, and inshallah today we will be going through Arabic paper 1 and paper 3. I'll be explaining on how the papers are and how it can be easy for you to be able to answer these questions. Bismillah. So let's look at what does paper 1 actually usually consist of. You have done some papers at your schools, and you know how does the paper looks like from the papers that you have been doing. So basically paper 1 usually consists of 20 marks, is usually 20 marks, and which is listening. So here is whereby the learner is there's a radio which is placed, and you listen to what uh, the examiner is saying. So this really needs you to be very keen on what is being said. Out of the listening, there are 5 passages that they will be read. Okay, so he will read the first passage, and then each passage consists of 3 questions. So you'll find that you'll be given a paper, and the paper has nisfu al-awwal, nisfu thani. So those are the passages. So you are supposed to be a very good listener. You'll be listening, and then now you'll answer the questions, and each passage consists of only 3 questions, and each question is only 1 mark. So 5 times 3 becomes 15. Then where are the other 5? The other part, which is the second part, is the dictation. Now the dictation consists of 5 marks. That's why when you add together it becomes 20 marks. Each passage is read twice, and when you listen, the examiner says it's after the second reading where learners are asked to write the answers, and the dictation part is read thrice. So you'll find that the radio will be placed there, and it will be on play. The moment it is on play, it can't be stopped, it can't be reversed. So maharatu istima' is what it's being examined here. Can you listen? Can you, like when someone talks in Arabic, can you interpret what they are saying? That's what is being examined at this point. So at the beginning, the examiner will say that he will read a passage, and he will read a passage that is not from the paper. So he will be saying that listen to this. This is for the examiner to be able to adjust the volume, maybe if the volume is small, to keep everything in order. Then now he will say, now we're starting the first passage, so you'll start listening. So I usually tell learners that at this point, this is the only time that I tell learners don't listen to what the examiner is saying. So make sure you got a pencil with you, and your pen and your rubber. Don't forget those 3. Most importantly, the pencil and the rubber, don't forget it with the pen. So this is an easy way whereby you can do. When you are given the paper, when the examiner is saying that this is for the invigilator to adjust on the volume, when he's reading that passage, take that moment and start going over the questions. So during that time, make sure you read the question. There are only 3 questions for 5 times. So read over the question so that you can have a little bit of what the examiner wants. Okay, so read over. Don't listen to him when he's talking about the adjustment part. So during that time, it's a best time whereby you can take that time to go over the questions. Then when he begins to read the first reading, so you have already known what the question consists of, and usually they examine like a place where there is adad, numbers, where a name of a person. Okay, so these are the most things that they question on the passage. Sabab. He woke up early in the morning, like استيقظ أحمد في الصباح لكي يذهب إلى المدرسة. So there he can have like two questions. من استيقظ, or he can ask لماذا يستيقظ أحمد كل صباح سبب. So they usually question at those points. So when he's now reading the first reading, you can take that time with your pencil, okay? Because you've already known the question. So when you are listening, you know this is the place I want. So when he is reading and you get that point, you can have it with your pencil. Okay, so you write that point at your answer. You write it as the answer there. If he continues, don't struggle on the first answer. If you just had a little bit of the answer, just write that and then leave. Go to the second one. Like that, go to the third. Then he will repeat the second time. So during the second time when he is repeating, now you'll be answering on the part that you didn't hear on the first reading. So you'll be answering on that and your answer will be now complete. Then after the second reading, he will say, now you can write the answers. So during that time, take your pen, write on top of what your answer that you wrote with pencil. You write on top there with the pen your full answer, and then you can rub. That is the best and easiest way, because when you say like okay, you just listen, you follow the instruction of the examiner telling you listen to the passage. So he reads the first time, you listen, and then he says look at the questions. You now look at the questions. Okay, now I'm going to the second reading. He reads the second reading, then he tells you now answer. Will you really be able to remember what he said at the beginning? It will be a problem. So the way I'm telling you is the best way. Just you need to be keen, good listening skill should be very good. And because you are doing this, you can ask your teacher like several times to give you the KCSE on paper 1, so that you get used to the listening and these skills. Okay, so let's look, what does the paper 3 now consist of? We have looked at paper 1, now let's look at paper 3. Here is where one is questioned to be examined on the level of understanding the language and how well one is advanced in speech. So your question, do you understand the language? You have been doing this for 4 years. Do you understand when someone talks to you? And can you also try to speak? Are you advancing in speech? It also consists of 20 marks. So paper 1 and paper 2, paper 1 and paper 3, they consist of 20. Then the paper 2 is the one consisting of 60 marks. So there are two parts, where the first part will be reading the passage, then questions on the passage, and then the second part are the general questions. So this is how it's usually done. You'll be in a room, all of you as candidates, and then there'll be a place whereby the examiner will be there with a bench and the chair, and then there's another space. A space that there's only one chair. So one of you is called according to the index and is given the passage. Okay, so you'll be having the passage with you. You'll go and sit at the first place with the one seat, and you will be going through reading. So you will read the passage until you are called. So when you are now called, you'll go now to the examiner. You go still with your paper that has the passage. You go until there. He asks you to read. So you'll start reading. He'll just be listening. So he's looking, do you know how to read? And I believe in Form 1 and 2, you have been reading the books several times. So that has been training you for years so that you can be able to read the passage. So you'll go there, you read the passage. Just reading the passage, it's 2 marks. Reading the passage is 2 marks. After then, now you'll be asked question according to that passage, and you have the paper with you. The paper is not take off from you. You'll have the paper. You can check the answer from the paper. And the places they ask is the name, the suburb of something, the timings, if there's somewhere numbers. They like questioning on that. So you are going to have 4 questions on that. Ask you the first one from the passage, the second, the third, the fourth. So each question is usually 2 marks. So reading is 2 marks and each question is 2 marks. And then when you are done, now he'll take the paper from you and now he will ask you general questions. So here is where now, are you advanced in speech? Can you listen and speak? Okay, so these are just general questions. From nowhere he will ask you questions. And all of you are going to be asked the same questions. Okay, so some of the questions that are asked, the general questions mostly are asked on occupation. So you'll be asked like, what does this person do? What does a teacher do? What are things that a teacher use or an engineer use? The environment, about your environments. Maybe he'll ask you, why do you come to school? He just wants you to speak something. So I usually tell learners, don't be afraid at all. Whatever you can speak, try your best to speak something, because you never know. Maybe you'll speak like that and say, at least he tried, and give you some marks. So whatever you know, the little you know, speak it out. Don't be shy of it. Kapsa. Then the other part they can ask you is translations, whereby they'll give you the a sentence in English and then ask you to translate it in Arabic. So they want to know, do you know what do these words mean? So you should be very familiar with the vocabularies. And I'm pretty sure when you read, you have been reading the passages in the textbooks, this will have helped you a lot to read the passage. And whenever there's a test after the passage, they usually have some questions there, or some vocabularies that you learned today. So those vocabularies, you get to know their meaning and you try to use them in your daily life, and that will ease your process of knowing and grasping the Arabic language. If you have these general questions, there are many. So I know most of the learners, some they don't know about them, they're afraid. So anyone who would like me to share with them, because it's a whole PDF. So it's hard for me to project it here and we learn everything. It's going to take a lot of time. With that, I don't like to tell you. That's why I'm doing short videos for you, so that I don't tire you listening to my voice. I don't want that. So if you have any question about paper 1 and paper 3, you can just WhatsApp me on my inbox. Or if you want some papers, I can help you with that. Or if you want me to share the general questions that are mostly asked on, you want me to share with you the PDF, I can share it with you so that it can you can read over and you get to know some of the questions. If you want like a question you don't know what it means, you can ask me on that. Okay, I kept some questions like ma amalu najjar, what does a carpenter do? So here you should know who is najjar. Okay, يصنع الآثاث من الخشب. So the moment you know who is Najjar is a carpenter, so you can get to know what does he do. He makes some things from kutoka kwa mbao. So it will be easy for you from when you know the vocabulary. Okay, like here the vocabulary there is Najjar. So the moment you know what he means, then it becomes easier for you to be able to answer. Ma hiwayatuk. What is the meaning of hiwaya? So that is the first thing will come into mind. What is the meaning of hiwaya? Okay. Hiwayati qira'atu al-kutub. What do you love to do most? I love to read the books. Okay. ترجم ما يلي إلى العربية. Translate into Arabic. I saw a teacher yesterday, so you should know the verb I saw. How do you say in Arabic I saw? Who is a teacher in Arabic? And yesterday, what is yesterday in Arabic? The moment you know these three things, so there is a verb, there's a noun, so that is going to help you be able to answer such a question. So I believe if you have done a lot of questions, you have read a lot of passages, you know a lot of vocabulary, and this one, we usually do this in Form 1 and Form 2, whereby learners are usually taught mostly on the vocabularies and reading the passages before coming to the grammar part. So with that, Form 1 and 2, you'll see these are easy things or something like that sort. It's boring reading passage every day, but that is shaping you to know more vocabularies and to ease your process of reading the passage, and it's going to help you a lot in answering this paper. So in case you have anything that you want to inquire about paper 1 and paper 3, or you want to get the PDFs, I can share it with you. Just WhatsApp me to 0115153 069 0115153 and I'll be able to help you, inshallah. If I have the PDFs and I have everything that you're asking me about, I'll share it with you, inshallah. If you have any comments, don't forget to leave any comments below. Anything that you want to tell us or any topic that you feel we should cover it with you, just communicate with us through my WhatsApp number or through the comments below, inshallah. Have a good day. مع السلامة.